The mining freighter Starlit Mule was loud, dirty, and permanently smelling of machine grease, exactly how human engineer Rhea Calder liked it. After 7 years working jumps between frontier colonies, very little surprised her, but she wasn't ready for the child they rescued. That day, the distress call had come from a drifting escape pod near Sector G47, flagged as unknown species. The mule's crew expected pirates, maybe a stray prospector. They did not expect a starved, trembling feline humanoid cub, no older than 7, soft charcoal fur, huge, luminous amber eyes, a tail curled around her like a shield. The creature hissed weakly when the medbay doors opened. Rhea was standing closest. "Whoa," she breathed, dropping into a slow crouch. Hey, little one." The cub flinched, ears flattening. She was dehydrated, near collapse, and wearing a metallic collar with scorch marks around the edges, clearly torn off forcibly. Captain Holt scratched his beard uneasily. "Species ID." The medic shook his head. "Scans say mixed genome, but primary markers match the Felritu, you know. The predator race that tore up half the frontier 2 decades ago." The room went stiff. Felroti were infamous. Not pure evil, just territorial, fierce, impossible to negotiate with. "The wars were brutal." "Relax," Rhea murmured. "She's a child, not a soldier." Holtz frowned. "We don't know that." Rhea ignored him. She looked at the cub. Her lips were cracked, her breathing shallow. "Water," Rhea said softly. "You need water." The medbot presented a cup. Rhea took it gently and reached out. The cub blinked once, twice, then slowly extended a tiny clawed hand. She drank greedily, water dripping through her fur, but halfway through the cup, she stopped. She stared at Rhea, and then she did something that froze the entire room. She stood, swayed, leaned forward, and pressed her forehead to Rhea's hand. The medbay went silent. Holtz whispered, "What? What does that mean?" Rhea felt the cub tremble. The gesture was careful, deliberate, and full of meaning. "It's a sign of allegiance." A voice croaked from the hallway. Everyone turned. Walking and supported by 2 crewmen was a wounded, older Felrati hybrid. A woman, tall, intimidating, fur-patterned like storm clouds. Her side was bandaged. She must have been found in the 3rd escape pod. Her eyes locked onto the child, then onto Rhea. "You offered her water." The adult rasped. "That means you accepted her plea." "What plea?" Holtz whispered. The Felroti woman straightened, proud even in pain. "She has chosen you," she said, "for protection, for sanctuary, for family." Rhea choked. "Family?" The child looked up at her with enormous eyes, tail twitching hopefully. The crew looked horrified. "Wait," Holt sputtered. "We can't have a Felroti claiming a human engineer. There has to be a mistake." The woman growled softly. "It is no mistake. My daughter performed the Varansaw, the ancient request. You gave water acceptance." Rhea stared at the small cub. "I didn't know what that meant. Intent is irrelevant," the alien replied. "You saved her life. That makes you bound." The child crawled closer, pressing against Rhea's leg like a kitten seeking warmth. A collective gasp rippled through the crew. Then alarms blared, warning, unidentified warship approaching, of course. Holtz groaned. "Of course the universe hates us." The Felrati mother stiffened. "My pursuers, Felrati raiders." A gunner said tensely, "No, the alien said quietly. Much worse. A hologram popped up. A smooth, dark vessel with crimson markings. Rhea went cold. The Krill Syndicate, she whispered. Slavers, one of the most feared groups in the Outer Belt. Their modus operandi was simple. Abduct rare species, genetic hybrids, or anyone strong enough to sell at astronomical prices. The older alien's voice cracked. They took us from our colony. My mate died protecting our child. I fought long enough to get us into those pods. The cub whimpered, clutching Rya's jumpsuit. Holtz barked orders. Shields up. Engines hot. Rhea get to engineering. But before Rhea moved, the alien woman took her arm with surprising gentleness. You saved my child, she said. If I fall, promise me you will take her home. Rhea swallowed. I promise. The alien sagged in relief and collapsed unconscious. The crew rushed her to surgery. Rhea sprinted to engineering, the cub somehow clinging to her like Velcro. No matter how she tried to set her down, the child followed, tiny claws hooking into her tool belt. Okay, kitten, Rhea said breathlessly. Stay close and don't touch anything shiny. The cub chirped in response. Outside, the syndicate ship locked weapons. Holtz shouted, overcomes. We can't outrun them. We need a miracle, Rhea. I'm working on it. Rhea dove under a sparking conduit, pulling wires. Rerouting power every trick in the book. The cub watched with rapt fascination. Then she pointed a paw at a panel and meowed. Not now. Sweetheart, Rhea muttered. But the cub insisted. Rhea checked. Her eyes widened. Wait, is that a secondary bypass? The little one chirped. You're a genius, Rhea whispered. With the cub's unexpected help, she rerouted emergency power through the forgotten bypass. The engines roared stronger than they had in years. Holtz whooped. We have thrust. Rhea, you did a blast, rocked the ship. The Krill had fired. Hull breach. Deck C. The cub shrieked in terror and clung to Rhea. Rhea shielded her with her body. She yelled. We need a jump window. We don't have one. Rhea bit her lip. Desperate times. She scanned the sector map. A gravitational anomaly, nearby dangerous, unpredictable, but potentially cover Holt's head for the rift cloud. Now, that's suicide. It's better than being slaves. The ship veered sharply. Lightning-like energy danced across nebula clouds. The syndicate ship hesitated. Rhea glanced down. Hang on, kitten. The cub pressed her head into Rhea's chest, trusting her completely. Why does that make my heart hurt? Rhea thought. A final blast struck. Systems overloaded. The starlit mule shuddered and burst through the rift cloud. Engulfed in crackling energy, everything went white. When Rhea awoke, alarms were silent. Engines hummed gently. The ship drifted, but intact. Holtz's voice came softly through the intercom. We lost them. Or maybe jumped dimensions. I have no idea, but we're alive. Rhea exhaled deeply. Something warm curled against her. The cub was asleep on her chest. Carefully, gently, Rhea stroked her fur. You saved us too, you know, she whispered. Both you and your mother. The cub stirred, blinked up at her, and did something the human crew would talk about for years. She crawled up, placed a tiny hand on Rhea's cheek, and let out a soft, melodic trill, a Felrati blessing song, one that only family received. Holt stood at the doorway. Speechless, all he could say was, Well, that just rewrote the diplomatic manual. Rhea chuckled weakly. Guess I'm a mom now. The cub purred and wrapped her tail around Rhea's arm. The crew watched in reverent silence. Humanity had done many things in the galaxy, but nothing echoed louder than a simple act of kindness, a cup of water, a rescued child, and a promise made in the quiet of a drifting ship. Asterisk.